Hey guys, it's JStars360 here with my review of Star Wars The Clone Wars Season 1. Now, as I mentioned before, I watched a bit of Season 1, but it wasn't until, the show was well into its 5th season. And I was really actively watching it. Season 1, I thought, was for the most part. I mean, there were some episodes that were good. There were some really good ones that really showed what the show could be, but overall, I really didn't care for it that much. So I'm just going to quickly go through each episode plotline and just describe my thoughts. First, we have Ambush, which is the episode where Yoda goes to meet with the Toydarians. Those are the Watto creatures as possible allies, but the Trade Separatists are meeting there too. They try to prove that they can offer them better protection than the Jedi by challenging Yoda to a fight. Yoda accepts. They promise it's going to be a fair fight, but of course they rig it and send a massive army. It's a fun episode because, we get to see, it's still Yoda. He's still not just running there, slice everyone. He's constantly using his brain, constantly thinking on his feet, trying to be resourceful. There's also some clones of him, and he's, inspiring them and teaching them, and I really like that. I like the lesson that they learned through this battle. It's a fun way to get us our awesome action, but same time teach us something. And it was also cool because Yoda talks to the clones individually and talks about how they're all unique and setting up the idea that the clones, even though they're clones, they can have different personalities, which leads to some awesome stuff later down the road. Next, we have the Malevolence Trilogy. This is where the Separatists develop a secret weapon called the Malevolence, which looks like Grievous's flagship from Episode 3. The one where Palpatine's held prisoner on. And it basically just fires out an EMP, disables the ship, and then the Trade Federation the Separatists blast it. This one was worse. There's only one reason you should watch this, and that's because it introduces Plo Koon, who's kind of an important character. Dave Filoni was obsessed with Plo Koon. He's like, there's that one guy in the Jedi Council who doesn't do anything. He just sits there in Episode 1, and then he dies in Episode 3. And I want you to get to know this character and care for him. And yeah, he is kind of important in the series, so you should probably watch it for him. Okay, the first episode where they're just trying to figure out what the weapon is, that's kind of fun. It gets us to know Plo Koon. Shadow of Malevolence, where they're destroying the weapon, that's okay, but nothing that amazing. Destroy Malevolence is cheesy. It feels like Star Wars for kids, just dumb. Hey, let's put all the awesome Star Wars characters on the ship and have some fun Star Wars-y battles. I don't really care for it. Rookies is really good. It's where a bunch of rookie clones are stationed on a communications outpost, which serves to warn the Republic if someone's trying to invade the nearby planet of Kamino. The Trade Federation so they send these awesome-looking battle droids to go in and capture the command station, and it's up to the rookies to defend the station. This is the first really good one. Really like, and we get to meet Domino Squad, which are a bunch of really likable characters. And again, it's just I just like anything to do with the clones. They kill a character off in that episode, which I would be sad about, but one thing the show gets better at is initially they'll just introduce a character and then kill him off in the same episode or arc. And sorry, I'm kneeling down. I need to stretch my legs a bit. Okay, that's better. Really hope you appreciate this. I'm on my knees because there's nowhere else to record this. But Domino Squad, they gradually die over the course of the series. And Fives is the only one left. And I'm guessing he's going to die in the Order 66 arc in the bonus content, although we'll have to see. So next is an R2-D2 arc. It's where R2-D2 gets captured and Anakin has to save him. It's alright, there's some nice moments, nothing spectacular. Downfall of a Droid. The first part was out. The second part I kind of like. Mainly just because, we get to see R2-D2 in a fight with this other droid, and it just felt very Star Wars-y and cool. And then when they escaped from the exploding space station, it was kind of cool. And it also introduced the idea of Anakin and Grievous appearing in the same episode but not meeting with each other, because the first time they meet each other is in Revenge of the Sith, which makes sense, like how they're going for continuity. Then there is a 3 episodes that are, in theory, could be independent of each other, but they're all part of the same story. The arc is pretty good, although not counting part 1. Part 1, skip, it's Bombad Jedi, it's a Jar Jar focused episode. And they try to give Jar Jar stuff to do just to think, well, Jar Jar's not that bad. And they want to represent every Star Wars character. Trust me, skip it. Jar Jar is a really annoying character. I mean, it does introduce Padme's uncle, who's a Rodian for some reason, who comes back. Yeah, that's the thing about Clone Wars. A lot of the stuff comes back. But, again, that's like literally the only reason I'd say watch it is because that comes back, and they do go back to the location Bombad Jedi takes place on. But yeah, skip it. Complete waste of your time. Then there's Cloak of Darkness, which is where they capture Nute Gunray in the last episode. In this episode, it's basically Asajj boarding the ship trying to rescue Nute Gunray. And it's a really good episode. There's fun action, it's entertaining. The ending kind of surprised me, which was rare for this show. And it was a nice break from the formulaic story of Jedi versus Separatists. Separatists look like they are like, oh, we're gonna beat the Jedi. But then the Jedi get the upper hand. That's basically the plot of a lot of these early episodes, and that's one of the reasons why I don't like them, is because they're so formulaic. But thankfully, as we get down the line, they break away from it. So, last episode of this arc is The Lair of Grievous, which is an interesting episode. We get to see Grievous' lair. It's about Grievous. It's fun, and it's fun. Then there's the Count Dooku arc, where Count Dooku basically gets captured by space pirates, and the Jedi go there to negotiate getting him. Sorry, I'm gonna have to do this a bit. My knees hurt. So the Jedi go there to negotiate his release. The first part is interesting, and the second part sucks because it focuses on Jar Jar as he shows up to help out. And what's worse is they didn't get the original. For the first episode they had with Jar Jar, they had the original voice actor. This one they didn't for some reason. And this new voice is even more annoying than the first one, if that's even possible. But I mean, the setup's nice, but the conclusion to this episode's terrible. I mean, the fact that the guards, because Obi-Wan and Anakin get captured and they keep trying to escape, and the guards keep putting them back in the same cell. They escape once, then they put them in the same cell, except this time there's even less security. At least the first time, I think they had, I forget. Point is, they have Count Dooku and, the thing from Attack of the Clones that Obi-Wan was held in. Yeah, and then they take him out of that and they just put him in handcuffs. It's really? So then there's the next episode, which I liked at the time, but now I look back and it's that wasn't that great. It's an episode where, oh yeah, I forgot before I move on. Dooku arc also introduces the space pirates and their leader, Hondo, who's a reoccurring character. So it's worth seeing it for the introduction of Hondo. Just watch the first episode of Dooku arc, and then, unless you're really curious as to how it ends, don't bother with the second one. Then there's the next arc, which is about the Lemur planet. It's where the Jedi crash land on a planet of lemurs who want to be neutral. It's entertaining. I mean, there's some fun action. I like the idea of introducing neutrality and the idea that not everyone likes there are good people who don't like the Republic. They do a bit more interesting stuff with it later, but it's a nice episode. Then there's Trespass, which is really, really good. It's the episode where they go to this planet to investigate this distress signal. They find out these creatures attack both Trade Federation and Separatists. Then they realize there are people living on this planet, and they want to leave them alone, make peace with them. But then there's this guy. It's a moon planet, and there's a main planet nearby, and the governor of the main planet wants to colonize this planet. And just see the episode for yourself. It's the first time the Clone Wars showed something that was really, really good. And then you have the Hidden Enemy, which was fun and entertaining. It's basically, they have reason to believe that one of the clones is really working for the Separatists. It's a clone episode, so it's automatically awesome. And the clone that it is, who's revealed to be the traitor, I don't think I'm spoiling anything when I say one of the clones is the traitor, but But I wish they would bring him back. Who knows, maybe they do in the next in the season 6. Next is the Blue Shadow virus. It's where a virus is infecting Naboo and the Jedi have to go investigate. Again, fun little episode, some entertaining moments, nothing great. The villain's fun, but he's only in the first half of the arc. The second half is just sort of wrap up. Then there's the big arc finale, which for some reason isn't the finale. It's basically... It's entertaining, but it's the pacing slow. There's that characters. It's formulaic. It's basically the same episode 3 times of, Jedi versus Separatists. Separatists being like, you can't stop us, and the Jedi like, yes, we can. Separatists look like they have the upper hand, but the Jedi win. First episode is them liberating space. Second episode is them freeing all the innocent people being held prisoner on Ryloth. And the third episode is them freeing Ryloth. Again, not really that great of an episode. Then there's Hostage Crisis, which is really good. It's a fun, entertaining episode that introduces Cad Bane in a good way to end the season, even if the plot in this episode isn't resumed until season 3. So, let me just review the episodes I really liked for you, in case you're curious. Rookies, Dooku Captured, Trespass, Hidden Emmy, and Hostage Crisis, with the big three the biggest of the 3, Rookies, Trespass, and Hidden Emmy. Those are the 3 I'd really recommend. If you're looking for an episode, if you want to get into the Clone Wars and you're looking for a good episode to prove that the show can actually be good, those are the 3 to go to. The 3 I would recommend avoiding at all costs are Destroy Malevolence and the 2 Jar Jar episodes, especially the 2 Jar Jar episodes. They are awful. And New Gunray story is probably the best multi-part storyline. None of the multi-part storylines are that really good. But New Gunray trilogy, the plot line that has Cloak of Darkness in it, is probably the best, just for the middle episode. Cloak of Darkness. So yeah, in a season, but there are some good moments, and it gets better from here on out. So, yeah, this is JStars360, signing out. May the Force be with you.